Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Coming at you a little later in the day this week. As you can see, I have a new guest with me. I have Rosaria joining me this week. And the life of an actress, we have to go by different schedules than normal. So I'm very appreciative to have you on this week. We're obviously going to talk about some of your projects. You and I know each other from wrestling, but you've since started kind of getting more involved in acting, specifically in horror films. So really excited to talk to you about that, one of my favorite genres of film. So looking forward to the projects that you have in the works, and we'll certainly discuss, how you got started in that, since that's kind of the format of the show, just really talking about your career, what got you into it, what you love about it. And obviously people have always said, like, there's a lot of people that say, I want to try acting. So, how did you kind of get into that? So we'll definitely dive into your journey here shortly. But if you've watched the show, you listen to the show, you know we normally start off just kind of breaking down the week ahead. So, what's motivating me for the week. And you and I talked about it a little bit before we started the recording here, but one of the main motivators is I'm taking my daughter to her first wrestling show this Saturday. If you've watched the show, listened to it, I speak about the importance of wrestling to me pretty constantly. And my daughter has kind of been hesitant to embrace that wrestling side, but she's getting more and more into it as we go forward. Brought her back some like stuff from WrestleMania, a toy title belt. So now she's like starting to get it. So actually getting to see an all women's show and kind of see some amazing women do their thing in the ring this weekend, I think will help solidify that. So very much looking forward to taking her to see that show. That's kind of my main motivator for the week ahead. So goals for the week, I've mentioned before, I'm running or helping to run the internship program here at work, and we have our welcome kickoff event on this coming Monday, the 20th. So as my goal for the week is just making sure that everything is set to go for that. We have all travel coordinated, hotels stuff coordinated, and getting ready myself, delivering some presentations along the way. So obviously I have to be ready on top of my game for that. So just making sure I'm prepared in all facets of that end. And that's kind of the win too, is that as we're getting close to that, it's been kind of a lot of moving parts to it, making sure everyone's kind of getting what they need along the way. So we have 14 interns lined up to complete their program this year, and we're looking forward to having all of them join us here in a week. So that's what's going on in my world. Rosario, what's going on in your world this week?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me.
Of
Happy to
course.
be here. You were actually one of the very first people that I met when I started my career in professional wrestling. I've
Hmm.
always been just a very welcoming, kind person. So
Thank
just
you.
thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So up for this week, I'm coming off a little bit of a sickness, so I am just trying to get myself back into the swing of things right now.
Mhm.
I'm expecting some new headshots to come in.
Nice.
And with those, I really am going to be targeting some new agencies, trying to get some uh, better representation. I've got Bell to Bell coming up on Saturday. I
Hmm.
will be ring announcing and doing commentary.
Awesome.
And I'm actually double shooting that show. So after Bell to Bell, I'll be heading back to Baltimore to do Best of the Best
Oh,
with
awesome.
wrestling. So I guess that's what I have the most to look forward to this
Yeah,
week.
absolutely. Yeah, busy weekend for you, but
Oh
all
yeah.
good stuff. All good stuff. So, like you said, you and I have known each other for some time now. Touching base and getting connected through wrestling, and you've always kind of seemed to be one of those people that didn't kind of shy away from pursuing what interested you, starting with wrestling, getting really involved and trying out ring announcing, commentary, backstage interviews, things like that. And now that you've kind of moved into film and started getting some movie roles as well. Kind of how did those two career paths kind of coincide for you? Was it already being involved in wrestling and feeling comfortable on camera, comfortable on the microphone that really kind of encouraged you to try your foot in acting, or was there something else that really kind of said, "Hey, I should give this a shot"?
Actually, the opposite, even
Okay.
though I will say professional wrestling kind of brought me into the world of comedy horror films. So, but prior to that, I took some classes in college. I was a business major, but
Mhm.
the arts were always calling my name.
Sure.
So I was taking acting classes, movement classes, communications as my electives. And that's where I kind of first started dabbling into acting. So some of the very first things I would book would be like some print advertisements, like little like local commercials, but
Hmm.
I hadn't successfully booked a film at that point. So then let's fast forward. I go from one of my communications classes, a TV and radio announcing class. There is a gentleman named Deacon Storm. You might know him from MCW. He's not
Okay.
there
Yeah.
anymore, but we were both in that class together, and he was just telling us how he's a wrestler, but then some injury happened, and he switched to commentary. And that's where he called me maybe a year after the class and was like, "Hey, are you still pursuing the entertainment industry? And would you like to interview wrestlers?" And I was like, "Yes, and yes, let's do it."
Yeah.
So it all started from there. And then through working in wrestling, I had a manager named Andy Weinberg.
Hmm.
So I'm sure many of you guys probably know him.
Yeah.
He's quite the character. He introduced me to Brad Twigg, who is the owner of Fuzzy Monkey Films and the director behind the crazy films Crackoon, Shriek Show, Killer Camp Out 2, Wrestle Massacre, all those films. So that is what threw me into that world. And that's when I decided I do really want to pursue acting more.
Hmm.
And working on that craft has been what I've been doing the last maybe year and a half.
Okay. I love that the winner, Andy Weinberg, kind of helped you along the way.
Yeah,
Perfect.
he was just like, "Hey, meet this director. He makes movies." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds cool." And the rest is history.
You know, one of like the best people you can really know in any industry. He's just like always there to help out and do what he can to help other people achieve their dreams. So that's awesome that he was part of your journey as well.
Fans don't always love him, but he's got a
Respect
little
him.
soft spot every now and
Yeah,
then.
for sure. For sure. So you kind of talked about some of the classes that you took and that part of, learning the craft and learning about acting. And that's, I think, one of the things that a lot of people are hesitant with when it comes to really taking seriously this, you make the decision, I want to get into acting. I think a lot of people who have succeeded in that will obviously say that you need to take classes of some form. So what was that process like for you in terms of finding the right classes that were going to help you with your approach to acting and learning different genres, learning what kind of fit what you wanted to do? Because obviously, initially a role is a role, but as you get more invested into it, you kind of find what you like to do, what you're best at. So what did that process look like?
So starting out in college, the classes I was taking were pretty basic. I had a lot of great professors and everything, but I would say it gave me a very general baseline, and
Hmm.
it gave me comfortability, which was it's important if you're going to be on camera.
Hmm.
Um, and so those classes were great. But as I've continued to work through the industry, trying to pave my way, I realized that sometimes you need to have classes that are like respected within the industry. So if you're like, okay, my acting coach is my high school teacher and she's great and I've been with her for 5, 10 years, if some casting agency or agent, if they don't know who that person is, it's a lot harder to get the respect of like, okay, can you act though?
Hmm.
So I have decided to like pay a little bit more attention to that. I want to make it easier for myself to get those opportunities where people can like look at my resume and be like, she knows how to act.
Hmm.
So I've been studying Meisner method for a year and a half now, and I feel like it has completely changed the game for me. Um, and that's why I just got my new headshots, and I'm planning to pursue a little further, maybe get a better representation to help me get into some more dramatic roles, which is my goal, possibly comedy.
Hmm.
Now, horror is my love. I
Right.
grew up watching horror. So I will always have a home with Fuzzy Monkey films, Brad Twig films. I will forever love them. But I always want to grow and challenge myself in new ways.
Hmm.
So I'm just continuing to do that.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the partnership and working with Fuzzy Monkey Films because you've been involved with some of the projects now, and you know if anyone's following you on social media or connected with you, they've seen you post about them, share kind of some of the work that you're doing to get those projects off the ground. So, starting, you know, at the very beginning, what were those conversations like in terms of getting involved with that? What really appealed to you about the project that really, you know, wanted you to invest the time and energy and being a part of, you know, making this a reality with everyone that you're working with?
So I won't lie, the first conversation I had with Brad, he's like, "Hey, I'm shooting a film." He sent me some scenes, and he's like, "How do you feel about it?" My childhood dream was to always be in a horror film. So he really didn't have to do much convincing. I
Okay.
was like, horror film, me in it. Okay, we're good. We're gonna
Yeah.
do this.
Where do I sign?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like sign me up, please. So that first experience, I'm not gonna say I was not picky, but I really loved the way Shriek Show turned out and my role in Shriek Show as Alex. And I feel like since Shriek Show, I've been able to improve my abilities, and I'm really looking forward to some of the premieres that we have coming up.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We're going to touch on that in a minute here, but I did want to ask about kind of getting through that initial project, you know, starting with Freak Show and then, you know, building off of that because, you know, everyone who is a fan of horror, you know, knows kind of what good acting goes into it, and sometimes it's, you know, it might appear bad because you're being a good actor, and that's kind of part of the storyline. So, and it's one of the hardest genres to act in because of that, and having that balance of being serious and at the same time, you know, showing your emotions and being able to have fun with it too. So, what was that challenge like for you, kind of embracing all of that, being a fan of the genre like you are? You know, what was your mindset going in of this is how I want to play my characters going into these roles?
I was very excited for getting to see like behind the lens, I guess you could say, of the things that I grew up watching and
Hmm.
seeing how it all comes together. Um, I think that my role as Alex, I came in a little bit naive. It was my very first film.
Hmm.
And so I was kind of playing off the other cast members, and that brought me a lot of comfortability. My characters, I've noticed, I kind of play a little bit more of a serious character typically. So some of my other castmates have had some like really hilarious things, and it's always hard to hold it all in where I'm like this serious person.
Right.
Um, but I really think having a great casting crew makes the comfortability so much better.
Hmm.
All aspects like death scenes, just like the circumstances and where we're filming. Like we were filming on a farm. It was cold, it was raining. So all of those things came into play, but because the energy was so good, I was able to just kind of immerse myself in the character, and I was pretty happy with my performance in Shriek Show. So
Awesome. Awesome. So you've mentioned it, and I've been kind of following along on the updates on your pages, but we have the world premiere coming on the 25th now, so very quickly approaching. And you just posted the other day about how it's been a process and to get this project from, you know, the initial concept to now you're about to show the world, you know, that this film that you've been invested in, everyone's been invested in for some time now. So let's hype it up a little bit. You know, what are some of the things that you really want people who are going into to watch Crackoon to know about the film? What can they expect, and what were some of your favorite parts about being involved in this project?
okay, Crackoon has got to be one of my top favorite Brad Twigg films. There's going to be a lot of blood. There's going to be a lot of comedy, practical effects. If you're a horror fan, it's a whole vibe. It was so much fun to film, and it's called Crackoon, so you kind of know the gist of what
Hmm.
we're going for, sort of like Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like it's Cocaine Bear on steroids, with a Crackoon and the everything. So My character in that film was called her name's Finn, and I had so much fun playing Finn, and I was really able to apply some of the techniques I was learning in Meisner in this film, and so I really can't wait to see it. But May 25th at the State Theater, the Crackcoon premiere, guys. If you're local, come see it, because there's so much work in getting an independent film off the ground.
Mhm.
So we have Indiegogo campaigns, there's the scheduling, shooting it, post-production, and we're independent artists.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm like so excited that I was able to I actually brought the connection of the State Theater through Combat Zone Wrestling.
Okay.
Um, I was the one that asked Brad if he possibly wanted to have the premiere in Maryland. And I just think it's great to bring something like that here. Like, all the hubs like New York, LA, like Atlanta, they're all going to have
Right.
those types of things. So I think it's a great opportunity to support independent film if you enjoy horror, you're and supporting local artists and directors.
Yeah, absolutely. And support your local community for sure. So for those that aren't local, then, what is going to be the best way for them to check out this film and kind of follow along? Because as we're going to touch on next, the journey doesn't stop with Crackcoon for you.
No. Okay, so Crackcoon, I can't really say much because Brad hasn't told me everything, but Crackcoon has gotten some sort of distribution deal.
Nice.
Um, I don't know all of the details, but apparently sometime in August there will be other avenues to see it. But I
Okay.
don't know the details.
Okay. Perfect.
Also,
Perfect.
just to throw it out there, I've been hyping up Crackcoon because it's Crackcoon, but the following night it is a double feature premiere weekend. So on the 26th is Killer Camp Out 2, which I did have a smaller role in. Had a good time filming that, and it's also going to be funny. This one is definitely more of a slasher vibe.
Mhm.
But if you guys are around, you get two independent films. They've got some deals if you get tickets for both. So definitely consider going.
Yeah, definitely. And as recently announced on your pages, Crocodile is now in the works as well. So, what was it just kind of the journey of Crackcoon that said, yes, I want to sign up for this, or what else kind of appealed to you about being a part of this project moving forward?
So I really wanted to be a part of Raccoon. Fun fact about me, I had like a little injured raccoon in my backyard for a couple years, and I would actually like feed it bread and meat, and all my friends would say, "You're crazy. Why are you feeding this raccoon like this?" And I'm like, "Well, he or she is injured and I want to help it."
Hmm.
So when I saw Brad posting these Raccoon posters, I'm like, I want to be in that so badly. But I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to see. And so when he contacted me, once again, instant yes. I felt the connection with raccoons and like just the amount of hilarity that's going to be in it. Like you already know.
Hmm.
So when I was approached about Crocodile, I had so much fun filming Crackoon I couldn't say no. The Indiegogo campaign is live, so we are currently raising funds to get Crocodile off the ground. They just shot a proof of concept, little snippet to give you a little taste of what can be done. But the more support we get, the better the movie we can make. So.
Awesome. Yeah. And now that you've kind of been involved in the movie making process and been a part of the campaigns and crowdfunding, things like that, has there been any appeal to you to do some of the behind the scenes stuff more moving forward, or is your heart solely with the acting side of the camera?
So my art is my soul. Hello, I think I just glitched. Um, I'm fully have a love for acting, but I do appreciate the production side of things. And I have worked as a script supervisor, and I've done a couple makeup artist jobs for another independent film. It's a fan film called Days of Sodom. It's a Crow fan film. So I have been getting my feet wet and doing a little bit of production stuff also. And I mean, I have so much respect for that side of things because I just have to know my lines, know my character, and just like do the thing.
Mhm.
They have to have locations, equipment, lighting, audio, script supervising, makeup department. Like it is so much. And then don't even get into post production. So, I mean, anyone that is willing to tackle that amount of work is like, I have so much respect for all filmmakers, directors, the whole production side, because the production value is what makes a movie. I mean,
Yeah.
good acting makes a movie, but you need it all. Like, we all need each other to make a great movie.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So if you've watched the show, you listen, one of the main questions I ask kind of anyone who joins me on these calls is, for some advice. And, people are watching this, listening to this, and they also want to start getting involved in acting in the film industry in some form or fashion. What is that advice that you've either received along the way that you felt was very beneficial to kind of help you get to where you are, or if people come up and ask you, what is some advice you can give me if I want to get started in this? What do you usually share with them?
What I usually share is get into acting classes, get comfortable with acting, and like apply. There's a bunch of student films, so wherever you are locally, try and get in touch with some students, and you'll get some footage of yourself, and just get comfortable in the camera. Um, and something that my acting coach always tells me that I would like to pay it forward is she always tells me, remember, you are enough just as you are. Don't forget that. This industry is hard. It's not for the weak-minded. You got to have some thick skin to be denied and rejected as much as we are. So
Hmm.
for every film you see me in, I've been rejected 100 other times, you
Sure.
know. So stay positive. Remember that you are uniquely you and you have something special to bring, and what's for you will be for you.
Awesome. So then before I let you go here for the evening, take some time to kind of plug some of the other projects that you have working on. Where can people follow you? What are some of the other titles that they can check you out in from the past? Feel free to kind of share everything so we can kind of get all that you've done out there.
Okay, so I'm big on TikTok right now. That's just where my platform is grown the most. So I'm not like big on TikTok, but I like TikTok.
Sure.
Uh, so my name on there is Rosaria Elsa. And the same on Instagram, it's Rosaria with two A's, Elsa. Actually, I forgot about that. I post on YouTube, but most recently it's been TikTok. Facebook, Rosaria Elsa. And right now, I've got Crocodile in pre-production. We're going to be filming that, I think, in September, or at least starting filming in September. And we've got the State Theater with double feature in Havre de Grace for the Raccoon World Premiere and the Killer Campout 2 film May 25th and May 26th. If you're local and are able to come out, we appreciate all the support. Come enjoy some horror comedies with us, and that's really it. But I hope there's more to come. As you know, with this type of work, you kind of never know what's around the corner. We just keep hustling and submitting ourselves. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying now could change in 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And actually, I thought of one more thing before we sign off here. And on three count, we had a draft a while back, and remiss now that we didn't ask you to be a part of it. But we were drafting our horror movie, the main villain, and our scream queens. So if you have the number one pick, who's your go-to scream queen and your go-to slasher that you would take right off the bat.
Do you need like okay, Halloween 4 and 5, Michael Myers, that is my all-time favorite.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna go with Jamie Lee Curtis. She's the girl,
Yeah,
She's been doing it so many years. She keeps coming back. You can't get rid of her. Like that is the type of scream queen I want to be.
yeah.
I want to keep coming back.
Right. Can't kill her. Awesome. All right. So I appreciate you so much taking some time to join me on here. If you're not already, make sure you're following on all social media. I will make sure I'm putting those tags in all the links. But thanks so much for taking some time to listen, to watch, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for having me. See ya.